Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is out now on current and next-gen consoles and PC.
And to celebrate the launch, Activision approached us with a challenge.
Take this car from the 80s and turn it into the ultimate Cold War sleeper.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is all about deception, action, 80s vibes, and a focus on vehicles unlike ever before. So we're going to modify this car with some epic mods that are inspired by the game and then put it to the test.
On the street, it's going to be a stealthy sleeper, but at the push of a button, an epic monster.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is now Black Chops. One of the things that was really important for us with this build is giving the car a whole lot of characteristics and mods that could be activated like a game. And we're going to be able to activate these different mods and different features using cheat codes. So to make that work, we've got Michael here, who's an industrial designer and a very, very clever fellow. And he's been writing a program that will live on a computer inside the car, accessible with an old keyboard, 80s style, that's going to let us unlock some of these mods. So can you show us what you've been up to?
All right, so the whole thing is themed like an 80s computer, so black screen, green text, and because there was no proper graphics back then, it's all made of characters, so we can load in whatever we want.
ASCII code.
So for instance, if we press the space bar, we get the logo for the game, and then we've got an 80s style console where we can type in things, and when you pick up your cheat code, then we can have graphics come up on the screen for that. And then finally, when we type in the right command.
So smoke screen. And so via this, that's going to activate a relay that will then run the smoke machine that's in the car.
So it's all connected, all one brain coming from the computer, and then we can turn relays on and off to make whatever we want happen, like a smoke screen.
It's also going to be able to control certain performative components of the car as well, like traction control and how much power it's making. It's awesome. But to make all of this work, that's the software side. There's also a hardware side of that, and that is where our friend Miles comes in.
This is our laptop holder that's going to go in the car.
Awesome, and that's the brain that's going to run everything.
That's right, yeah.
Awesome.
So it's all been plasma cut and some 3D printed parts as well to hold the laptop up so it doesn't damage itself.
To death,
rattle itself to death or damage itself. So we're going to glue this together with some hot glue.
Otherwise known as molten metal.
That's
and
right.
So the idea is, so we've got, I mean, you're an auto electrical guy as well, so the idea is we have to make this talk to that.
That's
and
right.
how do we do that side of things?
Well, we do that with Michael's software and hardware thing that he's made.
Yep.
So I did this side of it, he did the software side of it. And yeah, we're going to...
We can take away a lot of this stuff though, can't we?
That's right.
We can just sort of bypass it and go, we want to hold that relay open for a certain amount of time.
So this is basically a system that's been made with relays to be controlled by like a little remote controls and so on and so
that
forth.
you plug in your cigarette lighter.
Yeah, so we can basically get rid of most of this. What we really need is we can chop it there, get rid of that, and just use the wiring that it's come with. Yeah, that's really all we need, because we'll replace the relays with this with new ones.
Awesome. Bring it up to modern tech, but make it look old tech.
It is incredible what is possible these days with basic electronics you can buy off the shelf at your local parts store. Using an old second-hand laptop, some microcontrollers and programming software, we'll be able to control a multitude of electronically actuated features which we're building into the car. This equipment is going to be subjected to the same V8 power as we will, so just like our seats and harnesses, Miles has devised a way to mount our main control unit into the car using 3D modelling software. He's then cut his design out of 2mm sheet metal in a plasma cutter. The flat parts are then welded together to create a 3D mount specifically for our car. Some of our features are both a smokescreen and electronically actuated number plate hiding device. The smoke machine has been disassembled and repackaged to fit into our spare tyre well. There's no shop near us that sells Black Ops style mods for old European cars, so we've adapted normal products to work in our car. We're also making use of things they wish they had in the 80s, like 3D printers for finer details like wiring grommets. The software needs to be programmed to trigger the devices via relays for certain amounts of time. This involves hacking open the basic control boxes they come with and intercepting the buttons, then routing them into our microcontroller and sending the commands via our laptop. Our controller screen is in place and looks epic. Now we just need to tidy up the wiring and test it all out.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War sees the return of the RCXD, which is a remote control car strapped with explosives. We're going to be building our own version, which is a remote control car strapped with cameras. We'll be able to use it to collect intel, but also use it as a chase car for when we film Black Chops in action. The new game sees the return of the RCXD, which is the explosive remote control car. Now, our one is not going to explode, but we are going to put together a mad little RC car that we can use as a camera car to actually chase our E30. So it's basically a matter of making something that is fast and black, upgrading it to make it go a little bit quicker, and then we're going to be running an FPV system on it. So first-person goggles, so someone can be in the car wearing goggles, throw the car out, send it out on a little mission and see what's going on. And we're also going to run a 360 camera on there as well, so we can get some really epic shots of the car once it is in motion. The two options we have for RC car are a drift chassis and a buggy. Now, while the drift car would make for some epic slides, the buggy is more versatile over rough terrain and has more suspension travel, which will result in smoother video. The first job is to black it all out, keeping it looking stealthy and non-reflective. The next step is upgrading to a lithium battery, which will give us longer runtime and increased performance. We're going to be running a mini camera and transmitter on the front of the RC car, which will be sending a video feed back to some FPV goggles. So I'm going to hack into the main power line so we can run the camera from the same battery. To do this, I also need to install a voltage regulator to drop the battery voltage from 7.4 to 5 volts. Once that's all done, a chop sticker can go on top, and now it's time to test it out. With our RC car done, it's time to move on to the brakes.
I'm upgrading our who knows how old brakes to slotted rotors with performance pads. We'll then do a full bleed and check over of the system. Later down the track, we'll do an even bigger brake swap, but more often than not, it requires custom-made parts or a full hub conversion. For some unknown reason, one side of our car has painted calipers, but the other doesn't. So I'm going to match it all up so it looks mad and increases our power by 25 kilowatts. While I'm down here, I'm also going to replace the 31-year-old brake lines with some nice new braided ones and bleed it up.
New brakes are on and bled up. Michael and Miles have done an amazing job setting up our super 80s, super Cold War-esque nuclear missile launcher type system that's going to run all the mad devices that we've installed into the car. Still a few bits and pieces to do, but we are making excellent progress.
We've painted some genuine German-made 17-inch wheels black and added some brand new sticky rubber with a 215 tyre on the front and 225 on the back. Our friend Trung has also dropped by to help improve our tired paint with some of his mad skills.
In terms of just like a running, driving V8 E30, that's pretty much there. The tune's in it and everything's looking really good. But there's a whole bunch of other things that we want to do to make this car just a little bit more special and perform in a way that we've never done anything like this ever before. I've got a list of a few things I need to do. Basic things, center caps for wheels, grills, easy stuff to bolt on, but also like tie the battery down. And probably the most important one is the harnesses, which are on their way here now. You can use a lap sash belt with these seats, but if you want, we've also got the harness bar, which comes as part of the roll cage that's in there, and we can also bolt harnesses on, which is good for going to the track or driving it fast. Otherwise, there's little stuff like put the rear seats in and wire some things up. We are close, people. Very, very close.
Through the magic of controlled abrasion and some masking tape, you can see just how much better our paint is now looking. Our mods and cleanup are now done. It's time to get on the dyno.
I'm here with Scott from Haltech, an absolute gentleman and expert tuner. And today we're going to tune up this LS3. Tell me your LS3 theories / your LS theories. What do you love? What do you hate?
I'm into it. LS, they just work. Getting a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
But overall, there's not going to be much magic here where we tune the thing, it just makes power, it makes huge torque, like from really low in the rev range. It's an aspirated engine, so tuning it's relatively straightforward because we're not putting boost on top, adding extra atmospheres of work and tuning to be done. Mate, it's a 6 litre or a 6.2, so we have a rough idea how much power it's going to make. It's going to sound awesome, and that's the end of it. So not a lot of magic.
In this situation, it's possible to use a factory computer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they're quite good, as I understand it. So the benefit of using an aftermarket computer, is there any that come to mind straight away?
Anyone can tune it straight away. So using...
using the software that comes with ECU.
For sure.
Oh, I see.
So if you've got a factory computer on this for like the LS1 PCM or the E38 ECU, which was probably what was on this factory, there is a level of skill in order to make that a generic or a standalone ECU to be able to get it into this car, get rid of all the security, mess with all the wiring to make sure that you can actually integrate it and make it work.
CAN issues as well?
So the LS2 would have had CAN integrated thermo fans and might have had CAN or controller area network controlled fuel pumps and stuff. So by the time that you then add a thermofan controller, then you need to figure out how to trigger your fuel pumps because you can't just connect your CAN wiring into a conventional relay. There's a whole bunch of complexities there where laying in a terminated harness, putting an aftermarket ECU that's tried and proven that you lay it in, you get a proven result in X amount of time and you're not experimenting. So that's probably, and then obviously once you go further, if you want to super or turbocharge it, you definitely can on an aftermarket ECU, but you're getting a tried and proven result if you put something that is a standalone unit.
We have some basic configuration to do, like set our speedo, our gear indicator, and mad custom dash background. Then we can spin up the tyres, check the engine is happy, and prepare for some power runs. Even on some low speed tuning, the engine is making some huge torque.
Go, full, nearly, full throttle, go!
$250. Is that what we made?
Let's have a look.
Not bad. 252.9 kilowatts, 339 horsepower. All right, run number 2?
Run number 2.
Let's do it. Run number 2.
This is where we'll do a couple in a row and we'll just get on with it.
Okay. Temperatures are good.
93 we're sitting, mid-90s is where we're sitting.
It's happy.
Start data logging, come up, full throttle, go.
Our number on the dyno today is 250 kilowatts, which is about 350 horsepower. But the exciting bit, and something a little bit different to what I'm used to, is that our torque figure is 700 Newton meters and it's down low, which means this thing is going to feel ridiculously fast.
And with the gear ratios this thing's got and how light it is and the torque that it makes everywhere, doesn't matter what you do. If you put your foot down, this thing's already got more power than most cars straight away.
Yeah. I noticed that our power curve, it's like 100 kilowatts everywhere, is that right?
Yeah, so we're starting it all the way down the bottom here. So we're starting it nice and low in the rev range at somewhere around sort of 1600 RPM.
Yeah.
But when we hold it at full throttle on the dyno, the dyno holds us back, it measures that initial power, and then we let that ramp rate go. In this, even at really low RPM, the lowest we've started that run is 100 kilowatts at the wheels.
So you have 100 everywhere, minimum.
Yeah, so in a
amazing,
like in a big turbo car at say 2.5 or 3,000 RPM, you might have 50 or 70 kilowatts, something like that, when you start to get into it. Here, just all the time, it's got 100.
No waiting.
No, it'll just go. So, and, like, it's a big motor.
Yeah, it's a big motor, and it's also worth mentioning it's a stock motor, and this is in the ballpark of what LSs make. We've also got a big heavy drivetrain and a big diff, a few other bits and pieces, but I'm very happy with that number. I think it's actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but for this chassis, it's enough. So we have made a very healthy 260 kilowatts at the wheels. Now, I know what you're thinking, LS tuners of the world. You're thinking, yeah, but mine made 300 or mine made 500 horsepower stock. We're in the ballpark. The only major difference with this car and say a Commodore or maybe a Corvette or something is the exhaust. So we have to change it because it's a different kind of car completely. We do have a trick up our sleeve though that your average Commodore doesn't have, and that is we have exhaust flappers in the exhaust that we can open directly off the headers. So our exhaust is a little bit smaller. It may be causing a small restriction, particularly up the top, but we're going to open these flappers just to see if it makes any difference, because we can.
You ready?
I don't know, I can't hear you.
Hang on, let me put this on.
What? What? Oh.
Coming up. Full throttle, go.
Same power. Oh, wow, that's loud.
With that torque, it'll always just keep accelerating and keep pulling.
Yeah.
If you get sick of it and want more power for whatever reason, not insane to put a camshaft in this.
And that's all you've got to do. There's enough fuel system for it probably too, right?
Enough fuel, there's enough of everything, and it's tuned up so well that a camshaft, a set of springs, maybe a set of push rods, and it might end up making a tad over 300 kilowatts or 400 horsepower.
300, yep.
But like you said, in this car,
let's just see how we go with what we got. I got tyres about this wide on the back, which is going to find a limit, I think. Well, Scotty, thank you very much. As always, that was easy and fun.
Pleasure.
And I'm glad you like it.
It's
always good when you say that you like a car. It's a good sign.
This is a good way to, a good way to sort it out. I think it's time for some Mexican.
Oh, let's do it. Let's go. I am so happy with that result. The car's got some amazingly creative electronic mods that's happened in there, and it pulled a very, very healthy number on the dyno, and everything seems to work.
Now, thank you very much to everybody that has helped us out. And next episode, keep watching, because we're going to be trying the mods and driving the car for the very first time. It is yet to be tested. You'll be riding along with us for the very first drive. Thank you, of course, to Activision, and of course, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is out now, so make sure you grab yourself a copy, check it out, and we'll see you next episode for the testing of Black Chops.
I'm going for a sleep, man. I'm so wrecked.
It's been long nights.
It's been very long nights.
And long days.
I don't even care about the kebab, I just want to go to bed.